Assalamu alaikum, everybody. This is Mahvish Akhtar with another episode of FemmeIcon. And our topic today is understanding social and emotional cues. It's a very interesting topic. For me, especially. Wa alaikum assalam. Today we are talking about social cues, emotional cues, in terms of, we will be talking about it in terms of social. I'm sorry, I should just keep my glasses on. I don't know why I do this. Request. Okay, so for requests that you guys send to be a part of the video, please just do that beforehand. Talk to me beforehand, and you see a live posted for some other day. You like the topic, you're interested in discussing it, let me know, and then we can talk about how you can be a part of it. And what can you see through my glasses? Nothing that I should be embarrassed about? No? All right. So we will be talking about emotional and social cues. We'll wait for some people to join in, some more people. There is enough of you, but let's just wait a few minutes. So as I was saying, I'm sorry, I still, my sore mouth is, up and down, and it's not going away. It's just my tongue. So I will be lisping a whole lot anytime you can't hear me clearly, or anytime my words I'm mincing my words, or too much, because I know I am. Let me know. To me, it's really interesting, this topic, because understanding social cues and understanding emotional cues that people have, this is basically most of our job as journalists, and most of you will agree with me, those of you who are journalists and who do this, especially when we're going out to interviews and talking to people. So asking questions really is like 40% of it, because you don't really get much. You do, of course you have to ask questions, but then the body language and how the questions answered, and what they're saying to you, and just the emotions when they answer, the hand movement, everything matters. And if you are face to face with them, where they're sitting, how they're sitting, and then if you're in their home or in their office, and whatever, wherever you are situated, how they're situated, all of that really sometimes means more, tells you more than the way they're answering. They may be giving you a lengthy answer in favor of something, but their surroundings and their body language and just, everything else about them, even the way they're speaking, may be saying the opposite, complete opposite. So we studied it extensively. We still study it. I still study it, because you have to keep up, and I really do enjoy it. That's, observation is one of those things that I, seems like I'm talkative, but really in one-on-one situations, those of you who know me kind of know that I'm not really a huge talker. I'm more of a observer. So that's what ends up happening. I end up picking things up about people, and I enjoy the process. So yeah. So we will start today with a case study, because that will tell us really most of the things that we need to know. Let me fix this. I'm sorry, I'm not in my environment, so it's hard for me to get focused and And I know I'm bothering you guys too by doing this. So we'll start with a case study. And this case study is was done on children, but the reason I'm picking this, this case study is done on adults too. It's a psychological case study. Psychiatrists did this case study, but the reason I'm picking this case study rather than picking case studies with adults is because the thing is, our environment plays a big role in our social cues and how we are set up and how we think about the world and what our emotional and social cues become at some point in our lives when they're solidified. So it's important to start from, okay, what was the basis? How did it get to where it got to? So we will pick this one and we will start with, then it'll make sense to you once I get to it. And so this is University of California, 2017. She's an assistant professor. She still works there. Kalina Michaelska. So it was published in the Psychology and Psychiatry Journal, Child Psychology and Psychiatry Journal. Basically, the idea was this was children from age 9 to 13. Now, I've said to you, all right, so the question is, I'm interested in human psychology. Can you recommend some books? Sure, we can do that. I can recommend some later on, right now, when we are done with this topic. So, children 9 to 13. So this age group, now I'm sure I've mentioned it before and said it, in many different talks and places that we've had discussions, that this is the age group when a person's personality, brain is developed in the sense that personality is made. Your character is still developing, and it keeps developing until what they say 25. I don't know, age keeps changing, but your core person is complete. So now everything, your experiences, your traumas, and your happy, whatever moments, and all of it is done. So this is the right time to really have this kind of, study done on a human being, a complete human, be it a child. So this was addressing 3 main questions. Do children look at the eyes when they're facing some person that looks threatening to them? Like, where do they look? Do they look at the eyes? When somebody's angry, they have an angry face or an upsetting face, like they feel like it's a threat. Do they look at the eyes? That's one question that they were addressing in the case study. And would adults react the same way? So they wanted to answer that because 9 to 13, that now you're stepping into adulthood. So they wanted to know, okay, what would that be? Would that also apply to adults? And the third question was, would avoiding eye contact. So one, would they look into the eyes of a person that felt threatening to the children? And would avoiding eye contact, would that make them less afraid or more afraid? Like, what kind of reaction would that give them? What would happen? So to achieve that, what they did was they took about 82, let me get the number right. Yeah, 82 children. And they put them in front of a computer, and then they took 2 images. There are 2 images, right? And they showed them one image first that was a woman that has a distressed and unhappy look on her face. She's upset, distressed, and she, I'm saying this word right, or it just feels to me that I'm saying it wrong? Distressed, yeah. And that's accompanied by a scream or a shriek. And so that image is shown to the kids 3 times. I'm sorry, I'm going to get that right. 3 That image is, yes, 4 times. I got it right. So that image of a woman that has a distressed, unpleasant face with a shriek or a scream 4 times. And then the kids are shown an image with a woman with a face, plain face, no expression 4 times. So first, an image of a woman, distressed face, unhappy, kind of upset, not happy, 4 times with a scream, accompanied with a scream or a shriek or some kind of noise, like unhappy noise, of course, that it would be threatening to adults and children alike. And then a woman, plain face, no expression, just plain, and no noise, nothing, just quiet. And so these are close-ups of women. And there's no background, nothing that they can gauge anything from, as in, there's a image of somebody or a picture of something good or bad or something that they can, or colors in any way that they can get something, some idea of. So nothing. So these are images that are shown to these kids, and their eyes are being tracked. So the kids' eyes are being tracked as to where they're looking when these images are shown to them. And then at the end, when these images are shown 4 times each, then the children are shown each image 1 more time. Plainly, with no screaming, no noise, no expression, just plainly. Dono, ek dafa, women, same women, but plain, no expression. So 3 stages. In one stage, pehle 4 times a woman with a distressed expression, with a shriek or a scream, 4 times. Phir a different woman, plain expression, no noise, nothing, just a plain expression. Uske baad, the 3rd phase mein, dono women, bari, ek dafa, plain, no expression. And the eyes of the children is being tracked कि वो किधर देख रहे हैं. Now, 3 conclusions came out from this this exercise, this case study. Jisme, now we're going to come into this is going to tell us about our lives, and we're going to talk about us now, because this directly relates to how we, basically, is our childhood and how we grow up and how our social and emotional cues are built. जो कि हमारे triggers होते हैं ज़िंदगी के, हमारे, समझ लो, this is it. This is these women and this experience that the kids were having in those moments, in those flashes of images, is our entire life. जो कि हम किसी भी event पे, किसी interview पे, किसी social gathering में, किसी से one-on-one conversation में, basically लेकर जा रहे होते हैं. ठीक है ना? So think of it as, जो conclusion यहाँ पे अभी हम discuss करेंगे, that's the conclusion that we have every time we meet a person. All of that baggage is with us in that moment. We don't know it, but we have it with us. Same goes for the person that we're speaking to. They have their own baggage with them while they're speaking to us. So everything they say to us, and every reaction that they have to a conversation, to our movement, is, having all of that with them. And most of the time, not knowingly. That is why it's called, social and emotional cues. And that is why they're unconscious and subconscious, and we don't realize that they're happening. And that is why it's a whole study, because, a lot of the times there are triggers, and we will go over exactly what they are and what they're called and how, we'll get into that in a minute. So there were 3 conclusions. All children spent more time looking at the eyes of the face that screamed. So you see, all children spent time looking at the eyes of the face that screamed. You would think it would be the opposite. that they would look away. Anytime, you see somebody screaming with an angry face or upset face, you would want to, oh gosh, no, right? Especially for kids. But that didn't happen. So what does that tell us? Two things it tells us. One thing, that when there is a potential threat, you want to look and figure out what that threat is. Our instincts are mostly are not to run from it, but to figure out what that is. That's one of the reasons. And the second reason is because it wasn't clear whether that was a threat or she was in need. So our innate sense of wanting to help also kept the kids engaged, whereas, okay, does she need help? So they kept looking to figure out, do we need to help her? Is she a threat? So they stayed engaged. Fear comes later when you are actually sure and you need to, okay, I need to get away from this to protect myself. But they need you to be sure. First of all, they knew it was behind a computer screen, but those two things needed to be connected before they actually could, be fearful and walk away from it or avert their eyes. So that was one conclusion, two parts of it. Second, children who were already anxious, like by nature were anxious or just kind of not too comfortable with their own selves, avoided eye contact during all three phases. So that's kind of an obvious thing, that children who weren't comfortable with themselves and already had their own issues with contact with humans and people and social situations, avoided eye contact, and the screams made them afraid right off the bat. They didn't give it a chance. They just were afraid. The more children who avoided eye contact, even if they were looking at the screen, but they avoided eye contact, they were afraid of even the plain face that was not screaming. So if they didn't look at the ones who weren't anxious, who were fine, but if they didn't make eye contact with the woman who was screaming, when the woman who came on the screen who was not screaming and wasn't the same woman as the one who was screaming but was completely plain-faced and didn't have any scream, they were apprehensive of her and weren't too comfortable looking at her in both stages, because the same woman, when third stage came along, she wasn't, she was passive in that stage too, but they chose not to look at her. So not making eye contact, not starting out with eye contact, keeps you fearful of your subject, of the person that you were approaching. So to get people comfortable with you, to start out with a good, calm environment, it's best to start with eye contact. That's one of the conclusions in terms of us and in terms of how we interact with the world. That if you're going to, you're starting out in a gathering and you have people, you want to just kind of have like a nice, understanding moment with them. Come in. A lot of the times our urge is, especially if it's new people and we don't know them, to just kind of like, okay, I'm just going to go sit in a corner. No, to make yourself feel comfortable and to make them feel comfortable with you, make eye contact, because that makes everyone kind of relaxed. It would be the opposite, but it's not. It's not. So yeah. So that was basically the conclusion, which we can draw our own conclusion from, is that all of our baggage, again, like I said, all of our baggage, all of our past baggage, everything that we've done in our past, in our lives, everything that we're doing right now matters. And that is how we need to look at it. We can't just, learn some words and talk about do this, and then be up to par. So like I said, I don't just learn it, I teach it. But people come in and they want to know, okay, so how can I be better at giving interviews? How can I be better? I need confidence. How can I be confident? It's not that simple. Honestly, it's not that simple. But then it also is that simple. It's a very complicated thing. And also it's not complicated. We'll get there. All right, so what are social cues? What are our emotional cues and triggers that turn into social cues? Because we don't know whether we are giving those out or receiving them. We don't know that they're emotional, right? They turn into social cues, but they are emotional. So that's why it's going to be interchangeable. It really isn't, but it's going to be interchangeable because these are emotions that are turning into social cues. So basically, these are, again, emotional and physical reactions to our environment, to what is happening in front of us, to what we're facing. These are reactions. How our body reacts, how our mind reacts, what words we say, to our environment, to our triggers, to moments in life that we've faced. Basically, that's all that it is. That's why I said it's extremely simple when you go to explain it. But then when it comes to, all right, so get me ready to deal with it, it becomes way more complicated than that. This can be your tone of voice, hand gestures, facial expressions, posture, eye contact, body language. It can be how you sit, how you kind of make a face, everything, every little thing you do, that's what it is. Verbal, nonverbal, all of these things. I'm going to give you a list and then we're going to talk about how to handle it. Now we're going to talk about what to do. You're in a situation. Now we know in detail what emotional and social cues are. These are your reactions to the world around you. And most of the times we don't know that we're having these reactions, right? And then now we also know that most of the times the people around us don't know that they're having these reactions either. And the cycle that happens is that we don't know that we're having certain kinds of reactions or cues here and there. And the other people don't know that they're having those reactions. And then to their reactions, we have reactions. And then that cycle kind of goes around. And miscommunications and misobservations, those things happen. So a lot of the times when somebody, for example, when we go for I keep giving this interview example because this is prevalent and that is where people feel like they have missteps. That when they're trying to give I can do this and I can do this and I can do that, it comes off as, okay, I get it. You're, to the interviewee, it comes off as kind of boasting about yourself. But then aren't you supposed to do that? But you don't pick up on the cues of the person who is interviewing you. You don't pick up on the cues of, okay, I have your resume in front of me. I don't need you to sell yourself, but I do need you to tell me who you are. So that difference right there, how do you navigate that? For that, you need to learn the body language, how the person is speaking to you, what questions they're asking, exactly what have they said to you. Tell me about yourself does not mean, and I'm not talking about any particular situation because it could be different in every situation. If you have listed down every single thing that you've done or are doing, then when they say, tell me about yourself, they do not want you to repeat everything that you're saying. They probably want you to tell you things that are not on your resume. So you got to think, okay, so not things that are on here, things that are not, on my resume. Think outside the box, and then you have to start looking around and learn to observe. So here's where it starts. First thing, how to understand social cues. Read the room. Observe. Literally, observation is the first thing you need to do. You need to start observing. The second you walk into a room, whether it's an interview or you're at a party, anywhere, just walk in and look around. And you have to also do self-reflection for that as well. You have to also kind of go in and take a second to look at your situation too. Okay, I'm really nervous and I'm feeling, kind of out of step, and I need to calm down. When we say give yourself a pep talk, that don't say things like, I'm going to be fine, I'm great, I'm wonderful. No, you have to acknowledge what's happening. Acknowledge that you're nervous. Acknowledge that you're uncomfortable. Acknowledge that you didn't want to be here or whatever. And if you're feeling positive, acknowledge that too. But acknowledge all of your feelings and then look around and try to kind of understand where people are, what position they're in, what is happening. Again, I'll go back to the interview situation, that if you are at an interview, do try to see what time it is. Maybe, understand that this guy might be, this guy or woman or whatever might just be a bit tired. It's 4:30 end of the day. They may not want to hear lengthy answers from me. If you're at a party, it's late, 8, 9 o'clock, and if you're meeting with after work, it's a weekday, do try to keep in mind that a lot of people would be coming from work, so they would be tired, just like you. Or if they're, students or moms, or depending on who they are, school time, your friends, exams and parhaiyan and assignments, keep all of that working in your mind. So you understand the person and you understand what issues they might be dealing with. And then you understand their attitude or their, reasons for a certain way they're acting. And then you understand, first of all, your observation will help you to see the situation. So you know this person, right? You know what they're dealing with. So they're having exams. Exam week is here. They're having exams. You see them kind of sitting there quiet. Your observation says, hey, are you tired? What's going on? Right? So you start that way, and then they can tell you. That's a good way for us to get into a conversation. And now we're getting to the next part of it. But let's not get into the conversation part. But sticking to the observation part, you just kind of look around. And for this, you don't have to give yourself 30 minutes. You just sit and you look around. Or when you're saying salam to people, or saying, hey, what's up? Hey, hi. Just in that, when you're meeting and greeting, you will be able to, with practice, observe where everybody's coming from, what everybody's doing, or has done that day, or just get an idea. What that does is, let me tell you what that does for you. So you sit down, you've had a really rough day, you were tired, you had to run errands or be at work or wherever it may be, and you sit down and somebody gives you a compliment like, oh my God, you look so good today. So fresh. I wish I had the time to just get ready the way you do, say, at home. And you're triggered because you didn't have the time. You rushed. But to them, you are ready in a way. You look as good as somebody who had time and, put in the effort. But you get triggered because you wish you had the time. You wish you had the luxury of just being at home and get ready comfortably and all that. But they didn't mean it that way because they didn't know. Right? But they may be dealing with some kind of situation where rough week at work or studies or maybe they had guests and they have to take care of their children, or they have guests and have to work and have to take care of the children, or studies, or, So if you had taken a minute to observe the room and known, oh, they're, hey, how are you doing? When you said hello, maybe you'd seen their guest with them, or observed by some way that that's the situation they're coming from, and then they had made a comment like that. Maybe you would have been able to either ignore it, thinking, I understand what they mean, and just said, oh, thank you, but now I was, out all day. But, oh, thanks that I look, like I've put hours into this. Or just kind of explain to them that that's not the case, and you were also, so make them feel like, okay, we're both on the same page. I'm dealing with the same thing. I was running around all day too. So create a camaraderie kind of thing. Now, next thing is active listening. And that's what it means. Listen to understand. Once you've observed the room and you've picked up these little things on who's feeling what and where, and you're not going to pick up on every single thing, of course. These little cues are just going to be random things that with time you're going to understand. But when somebody makes a comment like that, you go back to, oh yeah, they said, sorry, I, just came all disheveled because I have guests in the house. And then when they make a comment to you like that, you're like, well, they did say that to me. So maybe they're just really tired and, they're trying to give me a compliment, but that came out because they're just kind of, feeling kind of like they don't have time to themselves these days. That's active listening. Listening to understand. When somebody else is talking, it's not about you at that time. It's about them. Give them the attention they need. And if you are going to explain something to them, do it for them. So they are feeling good about themselves. So something good happens within them. So while you're listening, make it all about the person that you are talking to. Because it's not just about your social cues. It's not just about your triggers. It's about the other person's trigger. Because we're talking about communication, right? These are all communication skills. We can't just make this about ourselves. Well, people don't understand my social cues. I have anxiety about it, and because if you don't understand the other people's social cues, then no matter how hard you try to have people understand your social cues, it's still not going to be a communication, because communication has to be two ways. So listen without judgment. Even if it triggers you, stop for a moment. Again, it says self-reflection. Do that. Stop for a moment and say, okay, well, this is not about me. It triggers me, but let me just see why they are saying this. Ask the why. If they do say something that triggers you, ask, oh, really? Why? What? Everything okay? Why? Don't make it about you. Hi, Usman. Don't make it about you. Don't make it so, why would you say that to me? No, make it about them. Let them, even if you truly believe that they're saying it to you. And if it is about you, then, you deal with it separately. We're just talking about in general situations and just, meet and greets and social gatherings and interviews and job connections and stuff like that. And then you have to have empathy. And again, we're talking about this active listening, and if you don't have empathy during your active listening, then it's not active listening. If you're not listening to understand, if you're not listening to have that in your head that, okay, I'm going to understand, I'm going to try to, empathy is not really even putting yourself in somebody else's shoes, because you can't. Everybody's situation is different. Empathy is really just knowing that everybody's situation is different, and I may not understand it or agree with it. I just need to let them be them. Just like I would want them to let me be me, and know that it's not about me and it's about them, and I need to let it be. And I learned to have the skills to, for conflict resolution. And that just goes kind of beyond, everyday, uh, uh, our everyday, what we call this, what we're talking about right now. But it is important sometimes, even in this situation, when we're looking at emotional cues, it comes up, and it does bring up situations where there's a misstep that happens. We say something, somebody takes it the wrong way, and we have to get out of that situation. So the importance of conflict resolution comes in that way. It's not about big resolutions. It's not about we have a big fight with somebody, or there's a situation at work where we have to, fix it. It's about little things that happen. And if we are at an event, or if we are, again, at a social gathering, or at a work event, and you upset somebody, you can't leave it at that. So the skills to actually understand and talk, that kind of thing. So that kind of conflict resolution, how do you do that? How do you give somebody the opening to, okay, I'm ready to talk to you, and I'm ready to understand what you're saying, and I'm ready to have that conversation? So we were talking about social cues of when you want to communicate with somebody, and when you give the person an impression of, I don't want to really, you're standoffish. What people do is this kind of, they'll fold their arms, or they're kind of like, their body is, their shoulders are kind of back, and they're straightened, kind of. So when you want to open up for a discussion, and you want to give people the impression that, okay, look, I said something you didn't like, and maybe we should talk about it. You need to. So maybe we should talk about it. What you do is, thank you, Usman. So what you do is, where were we? We're talking about conflict resolution. Okay. So to give people that impression, because the first thing you're going to do is you're going to, open up your body language. That's the first thing you're going to do. So to give people that impression, what you need to do is you need to open up your body language, which is your hands and your arms cannot be, contrived in any way. You're going to open them up any way you want to keep them, but you're going to open them up. They cannot be tied. And your expressions, smile, of course, their face has to be relaxed. And then you can ask, hey, everything okay? I didn't mean to, offend you. I was just, asking a question, or just wanted to know. So that's the first thing you're going to do. And it's not easy to do for a lot of us. It's the hardest thing to do, to keep your expressions relaxed, and just kind of keep your body very relaxed, open arms, and lean forward. So if you want to show interest to somebody, if you want to show that you are listening, or you're interested in what they're saying, lean forward. Your arms need to be not, close to your body anyway, in this way. They need to be open. Relaxed face. Usually smiling, but if you don't want to smile, just kind of keep it relaxed. Keep your face muscles relaxed. And because smiling is so hard for me. I always get this, weird here, and I don't know how to get rid of it when I'm trying to be, and people think I'm mad, like, all the time, even though I'm not mad, and I have to just do this thing where I need to really learn to not be this. So just keep your, face muscles relaxed, and lean forward a little bit to give them the impression that you are ready to listen, and you're ready to communicate, and you're open to the conversation. And then start having the conversation. And what you're going to say is going to be different, of course, so we can't go into the particulars of the conversation. But many times when you're talking to people, when you mirror, it's called mirroring, when you say exact words, exact sentences or phrases as what they're saying. So if they're explaining something to you, if they say, look, you don't have to agree to resolve a conflict, right? You can make them understand that, look, I don't agree with you, but I respect your opinion. So, going towards a resolution, but to make them understand that you respect them and you have respect for their opinion, even though you disagree with it. There's a technique called mirroring, which is you repeat what they're saying, which makes people feel comfortable with you and makes them realize that, oh, he feels like I do. Same feeling, same kind of the semantics of it makes them the semantics of it makes them feel comfortable. So for example, if they say, well, that kind of made me feel uncomfortable, and you can repeat, oh yeah, I see that it made you feel uncomfortable, right? Or if they make a statement, just like a blanket statement about something, it could be anything. It could be about work. It's like, I was just saying that we need to do more of this. And you can say, no, I absolutely agree. We do need to do more of this. But what I was saying is that, this is something that I don't agree with, but I still respect it. So when you agree or when you disagree or when you repeat the exact phrase, it helps to connect. It helps them to feel like you are both on the same page. And that's just a technique that, really helps. It helps to grow a connection. It helps to make people as though you're, understanding them. Like really, even if you understand them, but if you use different words, they will not feel as comfortable. They will not let their guard down as much as they will if you are using the exact words and repeating the same phrases. So that's how you start the conflict resolution. It doesn't start with, look, I want to explain something to you. Okay, you totally misunderstood me, and we got to talk about it. No, that's 9 out of 10 times it's going to go bad. First, you're going to relax your body. Again, self-reflect. What went wrong? What just happened? Let me just calm myself. My rule for everything, I'll tell my kids this all the time. I tell myself this all the time. Count to 5. Just relax in your head. Let's go. Okay. Starting over. And then you think about what you said, what happened, and then start with, and I'm going to say this one thing. We all need to humble ourselves. We're human. We're going to make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. No matter how much we know, no matter what, we've learned, how much we've learned, we're going to mess up. So just keep that in mind too, no matter what level you're at. And I need to really make myself understand that before anybody else, because I'm terrible at it. I'm always just like, nope, I'm saying this and that's how it's going to be. No, I don't, I'm always doing that. And so then I have to step back and be like, okay, I guess you're right. You're not wrong about this. Okay, let's think about it. So that's really, really important. So again, then in conflict resolution, that it's going to be verbal and nonverbal communication. And first, you're going to start with nonverbal communication, because first your body is going to show them that you're ready to communicate. You're relaxed. You're ready to, talk about this. All right. You're saying, Ayaz is saying, understanding social cues plays a significant role in making relationships, resolving conflicts, and communicating. Yeah, it's all of your relationships, every single one of them. You cannot have a healthy one if you're not socially understanding what those cues are. Because other people, anybody around you, if you didn't pick up on what they're trying to tell you and you just kept moving forward, if you just kept moving forward, then without understanding what you're being told, then you just have a relationship with yourself. right? You're talking to yourself, you're dealing with yourself, you're not dealing with other people, you're not dealing with what's going on around you. And that's not really a healthy way to live. That's really a selfish way, I would say, to live. And then we come to really just like relationship management, because then once you start to open up and you start to resolve conflicts that way, the other person is going to start cooperating at some point. And if they're not cooperating, then goes back to that point, then they have a relationship with themselves only, because they come into a relationship and then they complain about the other person. You don't understand, you this and you that, and then you don't really have. Then they're just an acquaintance. That's not a real relationship. So then after that, this can go, whether it's work relationship or a personal relationship or any other kind of relationship, it's that then you have to go to management. Then you are managing the relationship, and that's how you do it, back and forth. And it's going to have a lot of, in social situations, it's going to have a lot of complications. That's the reason I keep going back to simple and complicated. Whereas it's really simple, you just have to understand yourself and just keep looking for people's cues. At the same time, it's complicated because you are evolving as a person. Your emotions, your baggage is growing, and other people's baggage is growing too. So you're going to have to keep looking for, all right, so this person, they might mean this. But, today is a new day. Who knows? So you're just going to have to be understanding, constantly understanding for other people and what they're going through. How to not engage in a purposely created conflict situation meant to trigger one. Oh, that's an what is it? Asmim, I'm assuming is the name. That's an amazing question. I love this question. I really, really do. How to not engage. I'm assuming you're talking about a social situation. And it could also go for just a regular family situation as well. And I'll answer for both. And the answer is, this is such a good question, and I want to start from the beginning. Now, we talked about how all of our nonverbal communication, I guess, regulates our communication as one thinks when to speak. Okay. So we talked about, I'm going to go back to Asmeen's question. So we talked about how all of our baggage brings our, of course, our social cues and emotional cues are our triggers. If you just want to really get to the nitty-gritty of it, these are our triggers. Somebody says something to us, and it triggers everything that we have in us, and we react. This is what's happening. So the main thing that we need to do, the first thing when we talk about, all right, read the room, observation, even before that, I would say the first thing you need to do is self-reflect. Because these people who are trying to cause this kind of problem for you, these people who are trying to create these triggers for you, they know these triggers, right? These are the people who actually created your baggage. I'm assuming, because that is how it happens. They create your baggage. They are the cause of it. And that is why they're able to create those triggers in those moments when they know that you will not have control. So you are going to, so you are going to have control of yourself. You're going to self-reflect. And if you're in a social situation, let's say, we're going to start with that. If you're in a social situation and you know these people are going to be there, and if you know that these people are going to be there, then you know that they're going to somehow find a way to trigger you and trigger other people that are close to you or in the same situation. So you are going to self-reflect even before you get there. And that's a process you're going to start every time. Just make that a thing that you do. It's like a meditation. All right, I'm going to go in this situation. I'm going to be a part of this situation. These are my triggers. Because you know your triggers. These are the people, and these are my triggers, and these are certain possibilities that could happen and how they might trigger me. And I will not let them do this to me. I'm better than them. I'm better than this. And then just make your self-reflection your shield for that whole day. It's not easy. It's not without pain, inner pain, and just really working hard. But like I said, when you are ready to, when you learn to observe the room and you learn to observe other people and what their intentions are, when you go and do the hi, hello, and kind of, give yourself a few minutes, you'll be able to do at least that much. So you have self-reflected. And then when you walk into the room, you do that, take the 5-second counting thing, take a breather, don't engage right away, look around, and you'll kind of see what the mood is and what people are thinking. And it will help you then to decide how you will react to everybody. And again, like we said, use your body language to open up to people. You can use your body language to close up to people as well. You can use your body language, your arms, your demeanor to give the message that I don't want to be triggered by you. I understand what you want to do and I'm not okay with it. And I will not let you. So I'm creating this boundary. So in social situations, and if you start to self-reflect and you start to create those boundaries, non-verbal boundaries, at some point you will stop being triggered by it because you have created this routine, this system where every time you go, you were ready, and then they will know that you're ready. And of course, keep a physical distance as well if you can. And that becomes hopefully, inshallah, I pray. I've also pray for you because, I know how that works, how that goes. That will become something that you do regularly and that will become, easier and easier with time. Now, if that is happening outside of social gatherings and just a regular thing that happens in your life, then it is same kind of theory, but you can be a little bit more aggressive about it where you can actually say it. Right? You can actually say that I'm not ready to be triggered by you and I don't want to be triggered by you anymore. And use same techniques, but also verbally and a little bit more strongly. Again, I understand you can't say that to everybody and you can't have that conversation with everybody, but use the same, if it's a one-on-one situation or a closed gathering situation, use the same techniques, self-reflection, and then, close your body off to that. And that really does help. I mean, it feels like it doesn't, but if you see people with that demeanor, a lot of the times we say, oh my God, look at that person. Look at the way she's sitting. Look at, we say that because it works, because we notice the way they're, not open to us or not open to people, or the way they're just walking and not looking around and not caring. And we say that not caring. How is just walking straight, not caring? But there is a way to walk without caring, right? There is a way to sit without being inviting to people. So just use those techniques, read up a little bit more on it, and I'm here anytime you want to talk. So these are some things that can be used. And just really self-reflection is one of the key things that we can do. And then try to, take it from there. And like we talked about, eye contact is very important. When you want to engage somebody, try not to make eye contact. Try to, when they are talking to you, look away. Use all those things that are healthy in a way, in the opposite way. So that's why we teach all these things, so that we know when to weaponize them, honestly. Why not? Right? Why not? What about a session regarding how to deal and eradicate patriarchy from our society? Well, we're doing that right now. These conversations that we have every day, that is what we do. We talk about these things. We're empowering women to deal with their issues on their own. This is it. This is how we do it. Talking about it. How do you talk about it? How do we just say we should eradicate patriarchy, and then what? Right? What we do is we empower women. We talk about social issues. We talk about mental health for women. We give them the ability to take care of their own issues, their own problems. We have it on our website. We have an e-commerce platform for women called FemmeCart, where women who are doing business or who want to start a business can come and put their products on there, and we market them. And female entrepreneurs can, get help with us if they want to start a business and they're learning what to do and how to start it. We can help with that as well. So we're doing all these things. These are things practically that are happening and will keep happening, and we'll do more and more. And we engage other organizations and other people from other walks of life and other countries, because we are a global organization. So we are doing all those things. So yeah, talking about something and doing it practically and working towards it, I feel like is better. And we do talk about issues that are needed. We definitely talk about it. And we want a matriarchal society, and we'll support financially as well. Who's we? We want a matriarchal society. We just want a society that is happy and healthy and works for everybody. We haven't... who's we? I'd like to know. First of all, I'd like to know. We just, we're not looking for a matriarchal or patriarchal society. We are not here to promote one or the other. We are here to just promote all of us, because we don't work if we put one or the other behind. We can't push anybody behind, because I can tell you for myself, and I know that most of you will have the same experience, and you too, as I'm sure, that I wouldn't be here without so many men in my life. So many men have been terrible. I could tell you stories like talking about patriarchy. Oh my gosh. And we're going off topic, and I'm going to just take 1 minute to answer that, because this is really important. I can tell you stories, because if you want to, somebody like me who likes to do things her own way, I have stories of men who've treated me like, what creature are you? Why are you speaking your mind? But then I wouldn't be here if I didn't have those men in my life who supported me. And I know that every man that I'm close to, like be it my husband or my brother or many of my friends and cousins, and my nephews even, and many other people that I know, men that I know, they would not have achieved what they've achieved if I hadn't helped them out as a woman. So we need each other. We need each other to accomplish individual goals, and we need each other to accomplish our goals as a society, as a community. So what we need is not to have a matriarchal or patriarchal society. We just need a healthy society where all of us can work together. That is what we need. We need to stop putting each other down. We need to stop saying things like men are doing this or women are doing this. Of course, this is a patriarchal society. Of course, we are dealing with men who do not give women the respect or the care that they deserve. But the solution is not to just kick men out of the society or just like, the solution is for men, to teach women to stand up for themselves and to give them platforms and to, lift them up, and to teach men how to be respectful to women, how to understand that we are, we're no different from them. I mean, we are different, but, equal in our own way. So that's what we need, and that's what we are aiming to do. And so many other organizations and women around the world and men around the world are aiming to do. And I'm going to stop here because now this topic, we can just go on forever, right? So, how to deal with someone going through emotional withdrawal, as in like giving you the silent treatment. If they are choosing to not speak to you, isn't that their choice? That's, I'm going to need more background on that. And that's not something I can answer on this forum because it's a very detailed answer, like it's in a way that I need to know why. And sometimes if you've had a fight or a falling out, sometimes a break is a good idea. Maybe let them have that break. Maybe they need that space. Maybe even you need that space and you don't know it. So, yeah, that's something that is more of a personal, thing, and I would need more to respond to that. We need more background on it. But I appreciate all of you being here, and I appreciate the back and forth. I really love it when you guys have your comments and your questions, and we have this kind of conversation. It's always so much fun. I don't like to just keep talking because I get tired of talking. Can you believe it? I get tired of talking. But I do. And I appreciate that you guys appreciated the topic. And I appreciated the topic because this is so much fun for me to talk about this, this thing. Because that's what I do. I teach this and I talk about it. And this is what I do. So, yeah, it was a lot of fun for me to prepare for it and, talk to you about it. All right. So have a good day, good night, good morning, wherever you are. And I will see you next time. And ask me if you want to continue this conversation. You're welcome to do that. Please give me a call or email me or DM me. And we can talk about it some more and see where this goes. All right. See you guys later.